Girl, it was so refreshing to show up to company auditions and to be like, wow, some dancers are really good and most dancers are not, okay? Hey dancers, it's Kirsten. Welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel, or podcast if you're listening there. Today I'm going to do a little bit of a reaction video to communicate an idea that I've been thinking about for a while, but this post that I recently saw on Instagram from the Biscuit Ballerina, to know her is to love her, it really inspired me to talk more about how social media has been really messing with dancers' sense of what they feel they have to be in order to have hope in success in the dance world, or to believe that maybe they can make it if they desire to be a professional dancer one day. So I wanted to read the post to give you a little background on what we're reacting to, and then I'll share some ideas from there. I also shared quite a long inspired comment on this post if you want to go look at it, because I was just like, yes, more people need to talk about this. Let me read the caption. So again, this is from Biscuit Ballerina. She shared a video of her dancing at the age of 14. It looks like she's preparing a variation. It's being filmed, and she said this. This week, a couple of colleagues and I were looking at each other's dance videos from when we were younger. They were sharing their videos from when they medaled at YAGP and made it to the finals at Prix de Lausanne. And I had to tell them that I competed at regional YAGP twice and never even scored close to making it to the finals. The contrast between our skill levels at similar ages was stark. I resonate with that deeply. It was then that Max Richter moves pointed out, but hey, we all ended up at the same place. And it made me think, I wish teenage me could have better understood that it's okay to progress at different rates. It's okay to struggle through steps while some others might have mastered it already. Because that's how we learn, and in the end, it's okay if you still struggle with things well into your career. Here's to looking at you, Adagio. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, and dancing is more fulfilling when you're not trying to be someone else. Again, amen, sister. I'm having a hard time finding words that sound right, but I basically wanted to share this video of some struggling biscuits to let the kids who are stressed about YGP know that you don't have to be a competition winner to have a chance at making a career out of dance. Don't waste your energy comparing yourself to others. It's much more fun and useful to just keep enjoying the process instead. Wise words, take me to church. I so appreciate her saying that. Because, and here's what I want to comment on. I want to share a little bit of my personal journey, and I'll share some concepts. I want to communicate through that. Why this post resonated with me so deeply is, you see little Shelby in that video, obviously, doing pretty well for 14, but struggling with certain things, as it's so normal to do at 14. And I resonate so much with that video because I probably didn't even look that good at 14. I actually got my splits at 14 years old. You guys, I suddenly became passionate about ballet at 12, but I didn't even know what a summer intensive was at 12 years old, all right? I still danced for a professional company and continue to do freelance professional performances to this day. What that naivety, oh my gosh, I have such a hard time with that word. Anyway, what that time, or that innocence, I'll say, afforded me was the opportunity to feel like I could believe that I could do something. Because I didn't have social media at that time and I wasn't exposed to the competition circuit and all those things. Not that that's bad. I've seen a lot of dancers be pretty advanced and have scholarship and contract opportunities because of performing at competitions from a young age. So there's obviously some benefit to it, but what I want to share from my experience is that because I was without social media, I had Point Magazine, and even at the time, reading Point Magazine gave me a little glimpse into the best and brightest in the ballet world. And I'll say, though, I had, enough sheltering to where I was like, ooh, I love to dance. And I was one of the more passionate dancers in my class. So I was working hard. So then I improved. So then I felt like one of the better dancers in my class. And I was at a really small studio in a not super big city. Because I was in that little sheltered environment and I was seeing, oh, look, I'm improving. I love to dance. And I just wanted to practice all the time. And then I saw that I was advancing in my class. It gave me the feeling that I could believe that I was good at it and I loved to dance, so why not go for it and make a career out of it? I believed I could, to the point where I spent time dreaming about what companies I wanted to be in instead of just spending a lot of time doubting myself and being like, that's not good enough, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. Now, I wasn't perfect, so I don't want to make it seem like I felt that way all the time. I had my own struggle with body image issues and honestly disordered eating, because at a young age, even though I didn't have social media, so like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what I would have done with social media, but I remember looking at Point magazine and looking at these dancers who are some of the best in the world, and I was looking at dancers with very lean, toned adult bodies. And at 12 years old, when I was going through puberty, I didn't have ripped muscles because my body was developing. I twisted that in my mind, and though I was very excited about dancing and I really believed I could do it and I was good and I could improve and whatever I wanted to set my mind to, I set my mind to. But unfortunately, that also turned towards disordered eating, because I was looking at these photos and they're, you know, beautiful, perfected, only the best images are taken for the magazine. Obviously, why would it be any other way? And I was thinking, oh, well, if that's what a professional dancer is, that's what I need to be. So even my little mind was doing that. I think it's so normal. And so then I took unhealthy measures to try to look like that. And then, thank God I recovered. I now have a healthy relationship with food. I'm all good. But I just share that to say there was also a vulnerability in how my young mind was working, and just that willingness to be like, oh, that's what I should look like? Okay, I'll do anything. What makes me sad for this current generation of dancers is for all of the dancers watching who have been exposed to social media from a young age, and this is especially for you if you're a pre-professional dancer and you feel this immense pressure to look a certain way, perform a certain way, keep up with these like 10-year-olds who are doing quadruple pirouettes on Instagram. What concerns me is that since we have so much more exposure to these very perfected, curated ideals, I see a lot of dancers getting defeated so early on, before they even really give themselves a chance to hope and to dream. And of course they still dream, but with this sense of defeat that, oh, you know, they're like 14 and already saying, oh, I'll probably never get into that kind of company, or I know that I'm not that kind of dancer. And they're already putting themselves in boxes because they're comparing themselves to dancers who are, you know, standing out on Instagram. And what I want to also share from my story is that, and I mentioned this in the comment on Biscuit Ballerina's post, I feel that it was a great benefit to me that when my little sheltered bubble started to burst, it came from real world experiences where I wasn't just getting exposure to everyone who's out there on Instagram or TikTok. I was going out there to real summer program auditions and then real summer programs where I had to be in the same classroom with other dancers for weeks at a time. And yes, I was able to see the dancers who had crazy amounts of talent and be like, wow. But I also got to see their humanity because I was around them for more than just a 5-second clip, more than just scrolling through their feed and seeing all of their best photos. I was able to see how they actually are from all angles on all sorts of days. And that exposure to the reality of all of that person, and even following those people on Facebook, because Facebook was more of a thing back then, it helped me to see that that person also had ups and downs, and not everyone made it to be a professional, because some dancers quit or decided they want to do something else or got injured or whatever. And it just helped me to be exposed to the bigger world out there and what talent is out there in a way that was more measured and real. And so my mind kind of slowly got adjusted to the standards out there and the people who were kind of the best of the best that I was quote unquote competing with. And I think we really need to return back to that as much as possible, to be more strict with ourselves and just making sure that we're not constantly exposing ourselves, no matter what your age is, to such curated information that makes it seem like, because naturally our brains generalize in order to take in all of the vast amounts of information out there. Our brains are designed to distort delete and generalize the information we take in to basically be able to comprehend it and take it in. But what are we left with? Whatever gets distorted out, deleted, and generalized, it usually just matches what we already believe to be true. So that's why the confirmation bias is a real and dangerous thing. It can work for you, but a lot of times it works against you. So many dancers from a very young age, and this scares me, they're taking in this information that their brains, especially at a young age, before their prefrontal cortex is fully developed, their minds are naturally going to be more black and white. They're not able to understand all the nuance of the truth of a situation. Not that us adults are perfectly capable of that either. I'll speak for myself, but much less so if you're a child. And these kids are looking at these extremes on Instagram. And what it does is it causes these generalized, distorted belief systems to form, like everyone out there is better than me, or you have to look like this to be a professional. Though again, I still got some of that from Point Magazine and exposure to real dancers. It's not like it's not going to happen. It's only because of social media. But social media makes it way worse, where the standards that we think we need to live up to are genuinely not real. We might be looking at a real person, but we're also looking at the curated content from that real person. And who are we not following? We're probably not really following the dancers that aren't that aesthetically pleasing. Why? Because we also want to look at what's aesthetically pleasing. So we're probably selecting out, and the algorithm is probably selecting out all the people who you would meet in real life, who are real, who might have their strengths, but they have a lot of weaknesses. I was shocked as a pre-professional dancer when I started going to company auditions. I had this notion, because of the way my teachers at this big pre-professional school I was going to, the way my teachers talked about how you had to dance and what level you had to be at to be a professional dancer really built up this idea in my head that I'm going to go to this company audition and they're going to ask us to do 32 fortes one by one, and only incredible dancers are going to be there. Girl, it was so refreshing to show up to company auditions and to be like, wow, some dancers are really good and most dancers are not, okay? And kind of everybody shows up. And that just really broke through even the distorted generalization that I was believing, that, oh my gosh, everyone is going to be so good and I have to dance at this level. So I guess my point is that I think we need to remember the point of her post, which is that you can't predict how fast or slow you're going to improve. You can't predict exactly where you're going to end up based off of this one moment in time. And what she was sharing about what someone else shared is that, that sentiment of, look, we all ended up in the same place. And so no matter who you are, where you're at in your journey, the message I want to give you is to just not cut yourself short and to be so attached to measuring where you're at now and trying to predict where you're going to go that you end up limiting yourself. And also, don't judge what your future is going to be based off of not only just now, but also what you're seeing on Instagram, what results you get at YAGP. I personally work with a lot of dancers who want to mentally prepare for YAGP. They want to learn how to manage nerves, release performance anxiety, show up confidently on stage, and mindset coaching is a great fit for preparing for competitions like that. But what I'm able to see through my work is how many dancers feel that their worth is so dictated, and even their future seems dictated by the score that some judge is making up while they're like watching like 30 seconds of your variation, writing these things in the dark, trying to scribble some comments that are helpful. I don't know if I should really go into this, but those competitions, a lot of them are kind of rigged, so I'll leave that there. I will leave that there, but don't predetermine what your potential will be and limit your potential based off of what scores you get, what results you get at this point in your life, or what you see on Instagram. And as much as you can, continue to ask yourself the question, where did I get that idea? Where did I get that idea? Whenever you have a standard in your mind that feels unrealistic, or scary, or just like there's no way I could live up to that, if it's destructive for you in some way or discouraging, question it. Where did I get that? Who am I comparing myself to? What could be possible if I just went for it? I love positive what if questions to cope with this. Like, what if it turned out better than I thought? What if I improved faster than I thought? What would that look like? Or if I believed I could, how would that change the way I approach class now? or my rehearsals or my progress now. If I believed I could, what would I audition for? I really wish I could give everyone the gift of kind of what it felt like to be little Kirsten who just believed she could, because I didn't have Instagram and I was just like, I love to dance. Oh, I found out what a summer intensive is. Okay, whatever, let's go. Of course they're gonna want to take me. Like, it was a gift. And if you could just give yourself a little bit of that, I don't think it would hurt you. You know? So I really hope that this made some sense and that my rambly reflections were encouraging to you in some way. I really appreciate Shelby from Biscuit Ballerina for putting this post out. Definitely go check it out. Give it a like if you haven't yet done that, or if you don't follow her, go follow her. Hope you appreciated this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Naivete? Oh my gosh, I hate the word.